Have you ever reached a moment in life when you realize even family isn't always the rock you thought it would be? It's a tough truth that sneaks up on us as we get older. The comfort, the care, the support we once expected from our loved ones slowly starts to fade. Children get caught up in their own busy lives. Brothers and sisters begin dealing with their own health challenges. And friends, the ones who shared so many chapters of our journey, some move away, some fall ill, and others leave this world altogether. Suddenly you catch yourself asking, who's really going to be there for me? That question can hit like a storm if you're not ready for it. But here's the good news. You can be ready. Even in your 70s or beyond, you can build a life where you feel steady, confident, and free, no matter who comes and who goes. This isn't about bitterness, it's about wisdom. Because real support, the kind you can truly count on in the quiet hours of the night or on those lonely afternoons, often doesn't come from family. It comes from 5 other sources, the ones most people ignore until it's too late. These 5 foundations are what really shape a peaceful, independent, and fulfilling life in your later years. They're quiet, powerful, and consistent forms of strength. They don't grow distant. They don't make you feel like a burden. And once you understand them, you may never look at aging the same way again. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share could completely shift how you see your own power. Let's dive in. Number 1, physical mobility. When you're in your 70s, the ability to move freely without constant help isn't just about walking. It's about freedom. It's about dignity. And in many ways, it's the single most important kind of support you can give yourself. Physical mobility means you can get out of bed in the morning without someone holding your arm. It means you can cook yourself a warm meal, stretch up to the cabinet for your favorite dishes, or step outside your front door to breathe in the fresh morning air all on your own. That's not just movement. That's strength. That's control over your life. And maybe most importantly, that's emotional support in disguise, because it builds confidence, eases fear, and reminds you that you're still in charge of your journey. When you can move your body with ease, something powerful happens. You stop worrying so much about being a burden on others. Let's be real. Staying mobile after 70 doesn't mean running marathons or pulling off acrobatics. It's about something far more practical and life-changing. It's about protecting your joints, keeping your balance steady, and maintaining enough strength in your muscles so that you can trust your own legs to carry you. Simple daily habits make an incredible difference. Stretch gently every morning. Take a short walk. 15 minutes is enough to wake up your body. Use light resistance bands a few times a week to remind your muscles they still matter. These aren't grand gestures, but they are the little victories that build a fortress around your independence. And here's the truth, it is never too late to begin. So many people assume mobility fades because of age alone, but the decline isn't written in stone. The more you move, the more your body needs to keep moving. Your body doesn't follow your age, it follows your actions. That's a message most people don't hear often enough. But mobility isn't just physical, it's deeply psychological. When your body loses independence, your mind begins to shrink along with it. Confidence starts to slip. You second-guess yourself. You avoid trips you once enjoyed. Invitations pile up, and you quietly decline, not because you don't want to go, but because you're afraid you won't be able to keep up. That isn't aging, that's shrinking your life. And you do not have to accept that fate. Let me tell you about a man named Henry, a 78-year-old I met in a small park in Florida. Every morning, rain or shine, he walks laps around the path with his cane. One day I asked him why he never skips, and he smiled and said, "Because the day I stop walking is the day I start waiting for someone else to do life for me. And I don't want to wait, I want to live." His mobility isn't flawless, but it's his, and it gives him a sense of peace that no one can take away. Henry still drives himself to the grocery store. He still makes Sunday visits to his friends. He still climbs the 3 steps to his front porch with pride, not because someone built him a ramp, but because he refused to stop moving. That choice to keep investing in his body pays him back in freedom every single day. And that's the beauty of it. When you give your body even a little effort, it rewards you with independence. Most people never truly value until it's gone. Family won't always be around to drive you to appointments or lift you up after a fall. But here's the empowering truth. If your legs stay strong, your core remains steady, and your balance is solid, you can push those needs further into the future. You can hold on to your independence far longer than most people expect. And that kind of self-reliance doesn't just strengthen your body, it strengthens your spirit. So if you're feeling stiff, sore, or a little weaker these days, don't be discouraged. Don't criticize yourself. Just begin exactly where you are. Move a little more today than you did yesterday. While you're waiting for the coffee to brew, try a few stretches. When you're walking down the hallway, add one extra lap. These small, almost invisible choices pile up over time, and before you know it, you've built something powerful, your own solid foundation of freedom. It's a foundation that walks beside you every step of the way, whether anyone else shows up or not. And that foundation is priceless. Now let's talk about the second great source of support: financial simplicity. When you reach your 70s, true peace of mind doesn't come from the size of your bank account. It comes from clarity, knowing what you really need and understanding what you can comfortably manage, and learning to live within your means without fear, guilt, or shame. Financial simplicity is one of the strongest forms of support you will ever have. And here's the best part: it's one of the few areas of life you can completely control on your own. Because let's face it, messy finances become emotional baggage. Juggling too many accounts, forgetting about old subscriptions, or feeling buried under credit card statements doesn't just drain your wallet, it eats away at your peace of mind. And in your later years, stability isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. No matter how much your family loves you, they can't rescue you from financial disarray. But a clear, simple plan that can carry you through even the roughest seasons, like a sturdy cane that steadies not just your body, but your soul. Here's what most people miss. Simplifying your money doesn't mean losing control, it means gaining it. It's about creating a modest lifestyle that suits you, not bending to someone else's expectations. It's about enjoying the freedom to buy what you need without second-guessing every single dollar. Think of it like cleaning out a messy, overstuffed closet. The moment you bring order to the chaos, your brain finally gets to rest. Psychologically, financial simplicity clears away one of the biggest shadows of late-life anxiety about the unknown. Many older adults lie awake at night haunted by questions like, will my savings last as long as I do? What if I can't afford help when I really need it? These worries can weigh heavier than physical aches and pains. But when you know exactly where your money is going, when every dollar has a purpose, and when your essentials are covered without constantly stretching, the fear begins to fade. You breathe easier. You walk with a little more confidence. And yes, you sleep more peacefully. Let me share the story of Lorraine, my neighbor. She's 74, a widow, and once worked as a librarian. After her husband passed, she met with a financial counselor and made a brave decision to simplify. She moved into a smaller home, cut her bills down, canceled unused subscriptions, and kept just one credit card. She told me, I used to dread checking the mailbox. Every envelope felt like a new problem. Now I open them with a clear head and a calm heart. Lorraine even started a little jar she calls her Freedom Fund, tucking away $10 here, $20 there. It's not about the amount, it's about the reminder that she's in control of her money, not the other way around. What Lorraine did wasn't magic, it was choice. A quiet, deliberate choice to simplify her financial life so she could shift her focus back to living, not just scraping by. And here's the beauty of it: when your finances are simple, you stop depending on everyone else to keep them in order. You don't have to call your son every time a bill confuses you. You don't have to wait for a family member to explain the fine print. You can handle it yourself. You're the captain of your own ship. So if your money feels overwhelming right now, take a breath. You're not the only one. And here's the truth: you don't need to be wealthy. What you need is clarity. Cancel what you don't use. Consolidate what you can. Write down what comes in and what goes out. Make it simple enough that you could explain it to a friend over a casual cup of coffee. Because in the end, peace isn't about the numbers, it's about the knowing. And if you've stayed with me up to this point and you're finding these insights valuable, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment with the number 2 below to let me know you're still here. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next video. Your support means the world. It's what allows us to keep creating content that informs, uplifts, and inspires. And with that gratitude in mind, let's move forward to the third source of strength: a consistent health routine. At 70 and beyond, your greatest support system isn't your children, your neighbors, or even your doctor. It's the quiet daily habits you build for yourself, the ones that keep both your body and your mind steady. And no, I'm not talking about the latest fitness craze or shelves full of pricey supplements. I'm talking about small, steady actions you repeat every day, simple things that over time become your safety net. Because here's the truth, when your body feels strong and balanced, your spirit does too. Yet too many people wait until something breaks down before they pay attention. That's like waiting for a thunderstorm to start before you patch the holes in your roof. It's reactive and it keeps you trapped in crisis mode. A daily routine changes the game. It puts you in the driver's seat. When you take a walk every morning, when you drink enough water, stretch your muscles, take your medications on schedule and eat foods that nourish instead of just fill, you're sending yourself a message: I respect my body and I choose to care for it. That rhythm you create becomes a quiet form of self-respect, and it carries you on days when motivation is nowhere to be found. There's a hidden strength in routine, especially later in life. Psychologically, routines reduce anxiety by removing what's called decision fatigue. You don't waste energy debating whether you'll move today or not, you simply do it. That predictability creates stability, and stability breeds confidence. Confidence reminds you that you're not a burden, you're still capable, you are still moving, and you're still taking care of yourself. Let me share the story of Frank, an 81-year-old former electrician I know. Every morning at exactly 6 a.m., Frank makes a cup of green tea, does 15 minutes of chair stretches, takes his medication, and then heads out for a half-hour walk around his block, rain or shine. One morning he told me, "This isn't about exercise. It's about reminding myself that I still matter." That stuck with me, because Frank's routine isn't about chasing fitness goals, it's about identity. It's about holding on to the part of himself that refuses to give in just because the years keep adding up. And here's the beautiful thing about routine: once you build it, it becomes a quiet anchor in your life. Something you can lean on when the world feels uncertain. When you have a steady routine, something beautiful happens. You actually need less help, not more. You're less likely to forget your medication, less likely to stumble or fall, less likely to lose track of the day. It's like carving out a clear path in the middle of a foggy forest. Even when life feels uncertain, your feet know exactly where to step because you've walked that path over and over. And that's real support, the kind that depends only on you. Of course, not every day will feel easy. Some mornings your joints ache, some afternoons your energy dips. Sometimes the weather keeps you indoors. That's okay. The strength of a routine isn't in perfection, it's in consistency. Even small gestures count: a slow walk around the house, a few deep breaths, while standing by the window, a tall glass of water before bed. These little actions don't seem like much on their own, but together they weave a safety net, catching you, holding you steady, and nudging you forward with grace. So if you've slipped out of your routine, don't be hard on yourself. Just start small, one habit, one step. Because every time you show up for yourself, you're proving something powerful. You are your own best caregiver. And that's a form of support no one can take away. Now let's move to the fourth pillar of lasting strength: emotional resilience. If there's one kind of support that becomes more valuable with age than any other, it's this. Not money, not even physical health. Emotional resilience is the anchor that lets you withstand life's storms, loneliness, grief, setbacks, and yes, even the disappointments that sometimes come from family. Resilience is what allows you to sit in silence without feeling empty. It's what helps you face hardship without crumbling under the weight of it. By 70, most people have already endured more than their share of losses. Perhaps a spouse passing, children moving farther away, or health no longer what it used to be. But here's the common misunderstanding. Emotional strength doesn't mean you never feel sadness. It doesn't mean you never cry. Real resilience is about feeling deeply without being consumed. It's allowing the sorrow to flow through you without letting it root itself inside you. True resilience doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. It comes from honesty, from saying to yourself, yes, this hurts, but I can handle it. And here's the truth: every time you face pain without running from it, you grow a little stronger. Every time you sit with your sorrow instead of pushing it away, you become less afraid of whatever comes next. That's powerful. That's liberating. Because in that moment, you're not leaning on anyone else to carry your grief. You're learning how to hold it yourself without letting it break you. Let me share a story with you. There's a woman named Eileen, 77 years old, who lost her husband 5 years ago. She's been living on her own ever since. I asked her one day, What helps you get through the hard nights? She looked at me and said, every evening I light a candle, not because I'm religious, but because it reminds me I'm still here. Some nights I cry, other nights I laugh. But no matter what, I always whisper to myself, you made it through today. That simple ritual has become her way of honoring her grief, acknowledging it, but never letting it swallow her whole. And that right there is resilience. You see, emotional resilience isn't only about surviving life's biggest tragedies. It's about weathering the smaller disappointments too. When your son forgets to call, when a friend you relied on moves away, when your body no longer lets you do what once felt effortless. If you crumble every time life shifts, joy becomes almost impossible. But when you build emotional strength, something shifts inside you. You gain freedom. You stop being at the mercy of other people's choices or the constant changes of the world. You find your balance not because life is steady, but because you are. On a psychological level, resilience actually reshapes your brain. It teaches your mind to slow down instead of spiraling. It trains your nervous system to calm itself instead of overreacting. It builds a quiet confidence that no matter what uncertainty shows up tomorrow, you will still be okay. In an older age, when so much feels uncertain, that confidence is one of the greatest gifts you can possibly give yourself. So how do you build emotional resilience? It starts with awareness. It starts with how you speak to yourself. Offer yourself kindness instead of criticism. Allow your feelings to exist. Don't suppress them, but also don't let them run wild and take control. To strengthen resilience, find small grounding rituals that bring you back to yourself. Maybe it's jotting down your thoughts in a notebook. Maybe it's walking slowly through a park, noticing the trees, the air, the rhythm of your own breath. Or maybe it's as simple as putting on music that stirs your soul. And never forget, every hardship you've faced up to this point, you survived it. That's not luck. That's not chance. That's strength. So yes, family ties may weaken, health may stumble, but if your emotional core is strong, you will still stand tall, clear-eyed, steady-hearted, rooted in the quiet truth that you are enough exactly as you are. If you're still with me and these insights are resonating, drop the number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support is what allows us to keep creating content that inspires and empowers. Now let's move on to the 5th and final pillar of support, and a personal code of values. There is something profoundly powerful about having your own code of values, especially in your 70s and beyond. When the world around you changes, when people disappoint you, when the future feels uncertain, your code becomes your compass. It reminds you of who you are, what matters most, and how you choose to live, no matter what anyone else does. Too many older adults lose their way because they've spent decades living by the expectations of others. They were the reliable parent, the hardworking employee, the supportive partner. But when those roles fade, they're left asking, who am I now? That's where a personal code steps in. It answers with clarity. This is who I am. This is how I live. And I don't need anyone's permission to do it. A strong code might include values like honesty, kindness, responsibility, simplicity, or self-respect. These aren't flashy. They won't impress strangers, but they don't have to. The point is, they anchor you. When you live by your own values, you stop needing approval from others. You stop chasing validation. You stop being shaken when someone disagrees or misunderstands you because your peace is no longer dependent on anyone else. Let me share the story of Howard, a man I met in his early 80s. He once told me, I have 5 rules. I speak the truth. I never waste food. I always return what I borrow. I forgive quickly, and I go to bed with a clear conscience. That's it. And every single day, Howard lives by those rules. He isn't wealthy. He doesn't have a large family cheering him on. But when you see him walk down the street, there's a quiet dignity about him that is rare and unforgettable. Why? Because Howard knows exactly who he is. His personal code grounds him. From a psychological standpoint, living by a code of values reduces regret. Decisions become simpler. You don't lie awake at night asking, did I do the right thing? Because deep down, you already know you acted in alignment with your principles. It also builds something incredibly valuable: internal stability. Life will throw curveballs, it always does. But when you've got a code to lean on, you're far less likely to spiral into panic. Instead, you pause and ask yourself, what do my values say about this? And in that moment, your values become your compass. In fact, research in elder psychology shows that seniors who live by a clear set of personal values report on higher life satisfaction, lower anxiety, and even better cognitive health. Why? Because clarity brings calm. Having a consistent thread of integrity running through your life keeps you steady even when everything around you shifts. And here's the best part. Your values belong to you. They don't need approval. No one else has to agree with them, and you don't owe anyone an explanation. You simply live them. That's what gives them their power. For one person, that value might mean waking early to greet the sunrise. For another, it might mean refusing to gossip or showing generosity even when resources are scarce, or keeping curiosity alive about the world. Whatever speaks to your soul, hold on to it. Let it guide you, let it carry you. Because one day when you look into the mirror at 75, 85 or beyond, and you can say with honesty, I lived my life by what I believe in, that's success. That's real self-respect. And no one, not your children, not society, not even time itself can take that away from you. It's the one kind of support that never fades because it doesn't depend on anyone else. It lives inside you. And in the end, that's really what this journey is about, not being remembered by everyone else, but being at peace with yourself. A personal code gives you that peace. It's not flashy, it doesn't boast, but it holds you up quietly and faithfully, even when everything else in life shifts. Final thoughts. As we age, we naturally find ourselves reflecting who is truly there when the nights grow long and the days become quieter. And often it's not the people we expected. Family drifts, friends change. Even our own bodies can become less reliable with time. But that doesn't mean we're left empty-handed. In fact, aging reveals a deeper truth. Some of the strongest supports we'll ever have were never outside of us at all. They've been inside us all along, waiting for us to lean on them. Maybe it's the steady rhythm of a daily routine giving your mind and body the message, you are safe, you are grounded. Maybe it's the small joys, reading, gardening, sketching, music, the little passions that give meaning to your hours even when no one else is around. These aren't just hobbies, they are lifelines to your identity and purpose. There's also the foundation of physical care. Something as simple as keeping your legs strong, your balance steady, and your meals nourishing can mean the difference between dependence and freedom. Taking care of your body isn't vanity, it's wisdom. And don't forget the power of a curious mind. Staying mentally sharp, engaged with the world, and open to new ideas keeps you relevant. It keeps you resilient. When your mind is still learning, you don't fade, you adapt. You grow. You surprise even yourself. And finally, perhaps the most quietly powerful of all, the anchor of a personal code. A set of values that reminds you who you are no matter who comes and goes. That code is your compass. It's your armor. It's what allows you to age with dignity and when the time comes to leave this world with peace. So what does all of this mean? It means that the most reliable support system after 70 might not be another person. It might be a mindset, a way of living rooted in habits, values, and practices that keep you steady no matter how the world changes. It means becoming your own foundation. Because when you can stand strong on your own, you never truly feel alone. And that kind of inner strength isn't just comforting, it's liberating. So here's a gentle challenge for you. When this video ends, take a quiet moment to ask yourself, which of these supports do I already have in place and which one can I start building today? Don't be afraid to start small. Every big transformation begins with one quiet choice made in the privacy of your own heart. Thank you so much for being here today. We'd love to hear from you. Share one thing you learned in the comments below and tell us how you plan to bring it into your life. Your words mean more to us than you know. Reading them gives us motivation and encouragement to keep going. And if this video inspired you, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content that uplifts, informs, and empowers. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and never forget you already carry the best support system inside yourself.